Hello, welcome. I'm so excited to be here. We are going live today to talk about our ESL Career Week, and I'm joined by Sarah. So Sarah says hello, the first thing I want to say is for those of you who have not been in the group very much, up until about 9 months ago, Sarah was the primary person in the group going live, sharing resources. So if you go through the guides and the resources and the videos tab in the group, you're going to see a lot of Sarah. So for those who have been around for a long time, she's definitely a familiar face. But for those who have been with us, joining us sometime in the last year, Sarah, say hello and introduce yourself.
Hi, yeah, thank you, Chris. It's really nice to be back in the Facebook group. As you said, I used to be a lot more involved, but recently I've been working in the marketing team in a slightly different project at Off2Class, so I'm very glad to be back.
Absolutely, and we're so glad to have you. And this isn't something that you and I have done in a long time either, so this is exciting. Now, talking about ESL Career Week, okay. Someone watching this who has no idea what ESL Career Week is, can you explain it to us?
Yes, okay, so this is a brand new event. This is the first time Off2Class is ever running something like this. And we're calling it the Virtual ESL Career Week. It's a week of events and resources with daily webinars, a live jobs board, and other support and advice about ESL careers. And it's an event that's probably going to suit any ESL teacher who might be looking for a job now, particularly in the United States, or any ESL teacher, no matter where you are, but you're thinking about what are your next steps, what are the longer term career options if you want to stay teaching ESL, what different options there might be. And we're going to be highlighting some specific job opportunities at US school districts, so at public schools or at charter schools or private schools in the USA. But we'll also be doing a bit more general advice like career support, so whether that's like CV support and job interview advice, or talking a little bit about pathways, training, additional certificates that people might be interested in to do that next step in their ESL career.
Okay, so it sounds like this is going to be a combination of things to help ESL teachers in their teaching careers, but including maybe some specific opportunities for ESL employment. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, this is new. So tell me, and I don't know where this kind of came from. Tell me, well, what made you decide to put this on?
Yeah, definitely. So I think a lot of people in the Facebook group or the teacher community at Off2Class, you know that we do a lot of work with independent ESL teachers across the world. But what you might not be aware of if you're in the Facebook group is that we also work a lot with institutions, organizations, and schools, education institutions across the world, but particularly in the United States at the moment, and especially since COVID began, we've been working with ESL departments in the school districts where they have students in middle and high school who speak English as a second language, or maybe a third language or a fourth language, and they're using Off2Class to support those students. So we've been working with these schools, and they've been facing a lot of challenges recently. And one of those challenges is staffing. So they've been struggling to find enough ESL teachers at a time when they're actually having more and more ESL students in their school district. And sometimes the ESL students that they're getting enrolled in the schools are at a lower level of English than they might be used to supporting because they're arriving in the United States as newcomers. They're new to the country, and they don't have any English, or they have low-level English. So they're really looking for people with experience and enthusiasm for teaching ESL. But we realize there's sometimes a disconnect, or maybe the ESL teachers, like those in our community, don't really know about these opportunities, or they don't realize they're there, or maybe you know about it, but you don't know how you would get from where you are now to working in that kind of job. So as a kind of first time ever, we're trying to bring those two audiences together and see if we can help bridge a gap in the staffing situation and help give some really interesting opportunities to ESL teachers. it's quite, like you say, it's a brand new thing. So it's kind of an experiment in a way. We really want to see how it goes, get a lot of feedback from people, and see if it's something we should do regularly.
Okay, so I just want to say right now, based on what you've said, if anyone is interested, the link to get more information about it starts with a quick survey, and that link Sarah has put into the comments. But depending on when you're watching this, it may not be visible. We will be continuing to share the link to get more information about Career Week. So it just sounds like this is an opportunity for people who number one may be seeking jobs, or number two are just looking for career advice on how to take the next step in their ESL teaching career, regardless of how they're teaching it. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, we really think it's going to be of interest to both those audiences, and that hopefully it can be, interesting. And if you're exploring what are the options there, because the truth is sometimes we just don't really know, and we've learned that the conditions are very different across different states, the regulations, the certifications required. So this is an information event, as well as having some really specific examples and live job adverts.
Okay. And since this is an experiment, we're doing this for the first time, what are you asking from the Facebook community to help with this?
Yeah, so we'd love, obviously, everybody in the Facebook community to sign up and to get involved and really attend the events and tell us what you think about them. We don't want to do something that's not valuable or helpful to teachers. This is an event we're putting on as a way to try and give back to both of our audiences. So we do want to hear, if you find it useful, what's the most useful bit of it, and keep coming with your questions and feedback as we go along. And like Chris said, you can sign up. The sign up form just asks a couple of really short questions so that we can help with some matchmaking, like where are you based, and if you have any certificates already. But you don't need to be based in a specific place, and you don't need to have any specific certificates to attend. So It's just a short form, and then we'll be able to share all those resources with people.
And then there's going to be some kind of jobs board?
Yeah, so if you sign up with the form, we're going to be sending out a live jobs board with the opportunities that are currently being advertised for, currently being interviewed for. And some of those roles will also be discussed in more detail in the daily webinars. So we're having representatives from school districts coming on some panel discussions and talking a bit about the roles, what the pathways are, what it's like to work in that environment. If you've never worked in a school, in a high school, then that's going to be interesting too, as well as some training providers talking about those certificates.
Okay. And then I guess one thing is, have we finalized the when it's happening, or is it still kind of not 100% ready to say it's on this date?
It's definitely happening from the 28th of March to the 1st of April. So it's going to be the duration of that week. And we're going to have daily webinars, and we're just finalizing the schedule now. So we'll release that in the Facebook group and on the website for the webinar details. So
even for those who aren't necessarily interested in getting a traditional employment job, these are going to be daily webinars during the course of the week where there's going to be career advice.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. And just a kind of a preview, do we know what sorts of organizations are participating?
Yeah, so we know we've got a number of districts signed up at the moment, like I said, from quite various parts of America. So we have Tulsa, we have Houston Independent School District, we have Springfield, Ohio signed up, Harmony in Texas. So different places across the states. We have a couple more too, as well as some training providers that are going to talk about the certificates that you can get.
Okay, well that sounds pretty exciting, that there might be a variety of different types of organizations talking about what sorts of positions might be available. And I think also this could be interesting for different types of teachers. And just one thing I want to point out, I don't know about all of these opportunities, but I do know that some of these opportunities are going to be a little bit different from what we as teachers typically come across in online ESL. In online ESL, there's a lot of, when we encounter companies, we don't know if they're reputable or not. We have to do research, and unfortunately there have been stories about, companies suddenly going out of business. And in a lot of these circumstances, you're a contractor, which means, you're not an employee, so you wouldn't get any benefits that come with being an employee. And a lot of times you're treated like a number more than a person. So if my understanding is correct, a lot of these opportunities are going to be more typical employment jobs. So all of the things that kind of we think about with typical employment, the bad and the good are going to be present there, right? So if that is something that could be interesting to you, then and especially, for those types of opportunities, probably those types of opportunities are going to be more US centric. But if that's something that you're interested in, then this is definitely going to be an event that you want to pay attention to.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. And so much of the work that we do in the Facebook group is on that focus of entrepreneurship, setting up your own teaching business, how to grow that business, and like from personal experience, and know how empowering it can be to do something like that. But if you found that you started teaching ESL and you didn't think it was going to be your long-term career, but you found that you just love it and you love teaching, especially these age groups, so it's middle to high school ages, maybe a bit older, then you might want to think, well, if I want to make ESL teaching my long-term career, what different ways can I do that? I don't want to open my own online school. And the other thing interesting is, since COVID, a lot of traditional high schools are opening up to online learning. And that's something that we've seen in terms of, public schools running online ESL courses and teaching online, where the skills of our ESL teachers are really valuable for them.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Is that there's a lot of ESL teachers don't necessarily realize that your skills are in demand, and not just for the types of typical online ESL jobs. Your skills are, if you're an ESL teacher, especially if you're certified, especially if you have experience, there are organizations that need people like you, that there's a shortage, and they're specifically looking for someone with your qualifications and your skill set. So I think my big takeaway from this, it connects to something that I say a lot, which is there's a lot of ways to do online ESL, or even ESL. I can't even say online ESL. There's a lot of ways to do ESL. I talk about this a lot. I say, that you can start your own business, you can sell online courses, you can work for a company, you can go to a marketplace. But this is an option that I don't even talk much about. And this option is, you can work for an actual brick and mortar institution. You can work for a school. And these are things that a lot of us don't think of. But for many people, that could be an attractive opportunity.
Yeah, I completely agree. It isn't something that necessarily we've explored a lot in the group. And this is quite a new topic for Off2Class as well. So that's why we want to see if people find it valuable and what they think about the event.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to say about Career Week?
I think that's everything, except if you're interested, if you're curious, just fill out the form now so that you get onto the mailing list when we're going to be sending out. We've had a really positive response from the people who've accessed the form so far. So yeah, we're hoping to get more teachers to sign up, and we can send you more concrete information.
Perfect. And then I guess the other question is, do you have to attend the sessions and everything live, or is it only going to be aired once, or are there going to be recordings sent out? I just thought of that question now.
Yeah, everything should be recorded, so you can catch up later. Because I know Dion asked, will I have to block out lessons or something? If you're working at the times when the webinars are, then you'll be able to catch up on them afterwards. If you join live, you might be able to have that interaction with the presenters and ask your questions in the live sessions. But if you can't do that, then we'll be sharing them, particularly in the Facebook group, so that you can see them. Okay,
perfect. All right, Sarah, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. And for anyone who is interested, we're going to be sharing the link to our virtual ESL Career Week.
Thank you, Chris.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Have a great day, everybody.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for coming, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.